The Lord wanted me alone there in the morning praying, seeking His face, because He wanted to give me some revelations for the church. We are going to talk a little about spiritual coldness. This was a demon that I saw last night. I saw the prince of spiritual coldness that has entered in the church in the four corners of the world. I was having issue on the throat, so I went to pray. I've been praying a while. When my spiritual eyes were open, I saw the demon of coldness coming from hell to my direction. He had risen from hell especially for me. I saw this infernal knight from hell with all his powerful demonic armor behind him. His ammunition seemed to be evil arrows. I watched when he was leaving the furnace of hell. The infernal rider was coming accompanied by 5 dogs. I'm going to say it was a mixed of dog with demonic wolves. Everything that come out of hell is horrible. These infernal dog were monsters. They move in a great speed. The Lord said, I want you to meet the demon of spiritual coldness. He's coming towards your home. The demon of coldness came to my home by Satan's order, of course with the permission from the Lord, thinking I was sleeping. When he got close to my house, he wanted to enter through the roof of the house. When he saw that I was praying there in time of communion of the Holy Spirit, he came thinking I was sleeping, but I was on my knees bent praising and adoring my Lord, asking the Lord to burn my flesh much more so that then it does not prevail, so that it does not lean for the things of this world. I was asking the Lord to burn it even more, so that with His sword He further mortifies my flesh and old nature and put it to death completely. But I felt the presence of this demon when he was approaching. The Lord revealed that he has already come several times trying to enter through my roof and he couldn't get in. And he was looking at the spiritual covering that the Lord in His infinite mercy placed upon my life, and the dark night was trying to find some loophole for him to shoot me with his arrow of spiritual coldness and relaxation, and he was furious because he couldn't find a loophole. It was then that I got up and I looked out at the window to see this demon. The Lord said this demon is just like the spirit of death. In various parts of the world this principality governs the area of the spiritual death and coldness. He has legions of low-ranking demons that work for him to give satisfaction to him, and I went back to my knee and prayed so that he couldn't come in. The Lord said He shoot the believer that opened the door and loophole with the arrows He carried on his side, and when imprudent and non-vigilant soldiers of Christ are hit by the arrow of this dark rider, they will feel lack of energy, tiredness, and heaviness, sleep, discouragement that make the soldier cool down. Proverbs chapter 8 verse 17 to 18. These demons had entered with spiritual coldness into the life of many soldiers of Christ, and many didn't even notice. They feel the tiredness, sleep, lack of energy in the presence of God, to such an extent that they only pray when it's urgent. But these olds of Christ can no longer maintain a discipline of prayer, let alone fasting and consecration. Good old you must get up from the bed at dawn for prayer, and the Lord once told me how important it is that I wake up early the morning to pray at dawn on my knees bent. Do you see how it's important to be on the alert? The enemy wanting to come in, you can't cool down, you can't be discouraged even in the ordeal. You have to be with your knees bent before him. This applies to the whole church. It's only for Sister Ruth. It's for the people of God. The Lord said, pass it on to my people, because this prince has several demons working and are having success. They come in with spiritual breaks. Then the prince sends his arrow to make the soldier fall and sin, staying on the ground. Then the Lord showed me a man in front of me, a soldier of the Lord, empowered by the Father, by the Son, by and the Holy Spirit. I saw this man praying, fasting, having a disciplined spiritual life and in the presence of the Lord. But he was going through economic and health trials and test. Then at some point he didn't have the patience, because patience really is a fruit of th spirit. Our time is not the time of the Lord, for He intervened in high time. The Lord tests us first, then send the victory. I know the blood of Christ has power. I listened when this soldier of Christ said, Lord, I've been praying to you, I have fasted, I have served you with loyalty all my life. But look at the ordeal that I'm going through, and even now you didn't give me victory. Then he went to his room, took his Bible and said, so from today I will no longer pray or fast. From today onwards I will no longer be with you consecrating until you give me victory. I have served you with loyalty. In that moment I saw that he left the Bible. I saw when he left his Bible, for in the spiritual world he leaving actually dropping his sword. I was on the side and I saw this soldier leaving the Bible, abandoning his sword of the Spirit, a soldier dropping his weapon, the sword in the battlefield. Spiritual coldness entered his life. One of these demons of coldness was sent by the Knight of Hell, and managed to throw one of his demonic arrows that has reached this brother. When he was hit by the arrow of this Knight of Coldness, he just backed away from God work and cooled down and became an alcoholic, and Satan through these demons managed to take down a soldier so disciplined in the presence of the Lord. Then my vision went beyond and I saw in front of me a woman in tough situation, going through the ordeal, because all her life she had done the work of God with her husband. But now she was alone, the Lord, because the Lord had gathered his husband to heaven and she was alone. The Lord said, I took his husband, for if I extend his life he would spend the rest of his life to endure blows. But the lady couldn't take the ordeal because his companion of life had been collected. This lady said, I'm not going to hold on my life, it has lost its meaning without my husband. When she said her life has no meaning without her husband, she has opened a door for the enemy to enter through her mouth, because our dependence has to be on Jesus completely. Our dependence does not have to be on man. We have to continue to fight with our bent knees, and pray without ceasing. For our fight is not against human beings but against the powers and authorities, against the demons. That's right. That's when she left the Bible, stopped praying and fasting and became discouraged, stopped consecrating herself and she fell spiritually. That's when the Lord reminded me that when he reaped the life of Abraham's wife, Abraham stayed firm. He was sad but he stood firm in the presence of the Lord. I don't know if the brothers remember when Abraham lost his wife. So the Lord said to me, my daughter, both of my servant Abraham and his wife have been tested and tried in my word, and now they are with me today in the glory. My disciples were tested in my word and are with me in the glory. My children will be no different. It will be no different because you will be proven in the fire for me before I come in with victory. That way, I'm not going put up with my husband was mine. My vision went in front of a young man who was praying to the Lord for 5 years already, to prepare a wife for him according to his wishes, and he was fighting his flesh, fighting in all areas of his life, struggling sexually, struggling spiritually and sentimentally, and other things, but the Lord said that it was not yet the time, and that he had to hold on a little longer and be firm. He was going to have victory, but he couldn't take it anymore and fell into sin, turned his back on the Lord, also abandoned the fasting, prayer and consecration. He came out of the ways of the Lord, and one of these demons of coldness that are in the 4 corners of the world managed to throw the demonic arrow and causing him to retrograde, and he retreats from the way of the Lord.